This is Jack Lemmon speaking. Ernie Kovacs was a character. Wild, funny, brilliant. So only Ernie could create a gaggle of characters almost as colorful as he was. There was Percy Dovetonsils, Matza Hepplewhite, Miklos Molnar, the Nairobi Trio, the zaniest characters this side of insanity. And they tickled the television audience in the 1950s and early 60s, and they still do. Tonight, the characters of Ernie Kovacs.
Today, the chef Molnar tell you how to plan menu, how to make chicken Molnar. This is chicken in Hungary we call puika. Puika is turkey, chicken is chicken, chirke. Chirke is chicken, and troika is Russian dance. Now, we make special stuffing for chicken. First, we take one caper, this caper. This is like detective story, caper, you know. Throw away rest, don't need this caper. Now we take one queen olive, pick out pimento, pull out pimento, very carefully, put out pimento. Now we take caper, put caper inside queen olive, push good down inside, shouldn't fall out. Now, next we take kolbas, this kolbas. Ja, igen, jaj, füstelez ez a kolbas, nem tudom igen beszélni, ez a magyarul hát. We pull off one kolbas. Now we take kolbas, cut kolbas like this one time, cut like this one time, separate, little hole, put kolbas. Now we put olive which got pimento, which got out pimento, and got caper where pimento was inside kolbas, fold kolbas, nice back. Now take kolbas, take chirke. Chirke, which is chirke is chicken, puika is turkey, and troika is Russian dance. You remember this? My boys sweat the studio. Hot lights. My brother-in-law sweat. Now we take kolbas which got olive, which got caper inside. No, we stuff inside chirke. Now close up chirke, shouldn't catch cold. Now we put chirke, Istenem, mit csináltam az érzékelésem. Now put chirke inside bowl. Now we take carrots, nice fresh carrots, and we put, it's not so fresh carrots, but it's on television, nobody cares. All right, we put one carrot. Now you take parsley. You take parsley. I nem szeretem az a parsley. Don't care for parsley, so put just kicsi parsley, not much parsley. Now, garlic, it's called foghagyma, Hungariba. Foghagyma, garlic, no? Tudom beszélni garlic? No. But yeah, even your garlic, no?
A little faster, chef, a little faster.
Yeah. Now, we make sauce. First we put kicsi scotch. We put scotch in sauce. Now, we put some bourbons. That's a Janos Daniels. Now we put bourbons inside. Now then, takes practice to do this. Now we take some rye, put rye, kitchen rye. So hot in kitchen sweat. Hey, Istenem, nem igen jó. Now then, we put bor. Bor is what you call Hungary is wine is called bor. Bor. Now we put bor in. Oh, Jézus, szépen. Bor igen jó. Istenem, ez a sweat. Now, all right. Now we stir around neat. Now how you cook? You put chirke Molnar. First, you put oven, set oven at Fahrenheit. Any number, but make sure it's Fahrenheit. Now, put oven 20 minutes, finish, pull out oven, take out chirka, throw away, drink sauce, huh?
John?
Oh, I wish I was in Dixie, away, away. In Dixieland, I'll take my stand to live and die for Dixie.
X19?
Ja. Du hast mein X51?
9.
Du hast X52?
9.
Du hast X9?
9, as in nope.
Oh, haben Sie pass. Maybe du hast the X53.
Yeah.
It's one or the other. I just couldn't remember names. I'm not so good. Listen, tonight we're going to steal into the place where they make the atomic bombs in that little candy store and steal the plans, eh?
Right, you said it.
You boot. Listen, if you look a little conspicuous, you look like spies or something. You got a disguise, maybe?
I am always ready with a disguise, X19.
What was the other thing you was ready with for almost a minute now?
See?
Oh, yeah.
I am disguised as a surgeon.
Oh, yes. Those fish that swim upstream in the winter.
Brain surgeon.
Oh, those. They swim
Yeah.
up to the head. I know what you mean.
That's
Listen,
right.
You think you got a disguise?
You bring one?
They'll never notice me. Watch.
Let's see.
How you like that, huh? It's just a little something that I whipped up. My tattoo doesn't show, does it?
9.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Hello, kids. It's your old Auntie Gruesome with another story. This is the story of Rapunzel. A girl was closed up in the tower. Well, it seems that Rapunzel had been hanging around too many special joints, and her father said, I'm going to lock you up in the tower, Rapunzel. Rapunzel wasn't her real name. Her real name was Bessie Lou Koznovsky, but she wanted to be in motion pictures, and she thought the Rapunzel Liederkranz was kind of more romantic. Well, now, she's locked up in this tower, and all of a sudden, along comes this prince. See, he's riding on a big horse. Well, this prince worked in a hardware store in the daytime. He was a prince by night, wonderful fellow. And he says, oh, hello there, Rat. What you doing? She says, well, the old man has closed me up in the tower, she said, and she said, gee, I'm dying to get out of here. She said, listen, why don't you slip off and get a couple of pizzas and come up here and we'll have a little, kind of a little party. He says, well, swell. So he races off on this horse that he borrowed from the guy that owns the hardware store, and in about 4 minutes, he comes back, see, with these pizzas. Well, she says, well, come on up. She says, come on up. He says, well, I can't get up there in that big tower. She says, well, he says, look here, bushy tails, why don't you let down your hair and I'll climb up on it. She says, swell idea. Well, it just happens that she's got kind of loose hair, and in about a half hour, he looks like a mohair sofa. You know, it's all over him, and she's got dandruff. He thinks it's snowing. He starts to catch cold. So he finally gets over there, and he cuts this big pole off a tree, see, and he goes, zingo, and he kind of pole vaults right up to the tower, but his hands are all slippery from the pizzas, and he goes sailing on. What's that? The time's up again? My goodness, I didn't know it was that late. Cuckoo, cuckoo, he cooked me. Cuckoo. And now, with a magic cabinet trick. And now, sir, can't learn to carry the tray and the cabinet at the same time, huh? Step into the magic cabinet.
Yep. You're gonna make some rabbits appear. I've seen you fellas make rabbits appear. You hide them up your sleeves, goldfish bowls, too, and silk handkerchiefs, and flags of all nations, canaries, pigeons.
Are you finished?
White mice.
Get in there!
Son qua. Ehi, Figaro! Son qua, Figaro qua, Figaro là, Figaro qua, Figaro là, Figaro su, Figaro giù, Figaro su, Figaro giù. Protagonissimo son come un fulmine, sono il papà della città, della città, della città, della città, della città. Abra Figaro, bravo, bravissimo, Abra Figaro, bravo, bravissimo, fortunatissimo, fortunatissimo. Ade fortuna, la maccherà, con il patatum della città, con il patatum della città, della città, della città,
But, Harold, are you sure this is the right address?
Yes, dear.
But you said there was supposed to be a big party here.
Perhaps the other guests were late. Why don't you sit down on a nice, cool rock until they get here?
I'm frightened, Harold. I have a feeling that something dreadful is going to happen in this cave.
Don't be afraid, my dear. As long as I'm with you, you're all right.
Oh, yes, Harold. I know as long as I'm with you, I'm all right. Forgive me for saying this, but... Harold, your eyes, they're getting funny. Harold, your nails. And your hands. You never told me you were married. And your hair. Somehow you look different.
And now, my dear, I'm going to kill you. But first, I'm going to tell you who murdered your father. The name of the man who murdered your father.
Tell me. Ever since I've been a child, I've wanted to know.
The name of the man who murdered your father was...
Stop playing that tuba!
Nobody tells my daughter to stop playing the tuba.
I don't like tuba!
Blue Bulls! Stop playing the tuba, honey. Stop playing it there.
Okay. You're ready to draw.
I'm ready to draw.
I'll give you a few shots first.
All
I
right.
don't take any disadvantages of you.
Oh, just a little joke there, Blue Bows. I really didn't mean to hit you. you can tell I didn't mean to. See, my guns is on the tape.
John?
My son, you have been a disgrace to my tribe. Many people say you are stupid. Why do they say this, my son?
Beats me,
Father.
Father?
Now, we have captured the English school teacher, and we are burning her at the stake. Son, I want you to do a war dance, so the fellow members of the tribe will know you're not so stupid.
Okay, Mother?
Father.
Father. I can't remember everything. Father's the one with the feathers. Greetings indeed. There has been some talk in the mail that I am drinking real gin in this glass for my martini. I objurgate such talk. This is not gin, this is a phony prop. It's white scotch. Besides, last week I had to join the AA to continue in this spot. So I did. It's Albert Alexander's Bar. It's a wonderful little place. We call it AA Fifth Yard. Today, taking my picture out there is Norman again, of the muscles and sinews. The toss-up is he has more sinews or more muscles, but he certainly has a wonderful camera and it's painted orange. Norman told me a joke just before we sat down to do this poem today, which I would like to tell to you. He said, "Why are elephants painted gray?" And I said, "I don't know." And he said, "So they can tell them from bluebirds." He's so funny. He's anything for a laugh. He's the only one on the crew who takes my picture and wears funny shorts. Now then, I was stuck terribly last week. I was so angry. The little girl who lived next door was going to be on television, and she was wearing a particularly lovely gown with all mauve and lace. And she said, "You must see me in color." And I said, "But Mercy, we don't have a color set." And she said, "Well, you must get one." And just then a rather hideous, insidious type person said, "I'll sell you a color set for $120. Well, certainly this is a bargain. So I paid him the $120, and he brought the set up, and he says, "Here's your color set." In a way, he was right. It was brown. Now then, I'm going to read my poem to you today, which I call Ode from a Germ's Eye Viewpoint. Here comes Al Jarvis. Ode from a germ thy viewpoint. As a germ, I'm smaller than the flea, for I can see you, but you can't see me. My mother is in pictures, you've seen her on the screen. She gave chicken pox to Alan Ladd and mumps to Bobby Breen. But my sister is at Vassar. At sports, she's really a dream. Last week, they made her captain of the streptococcus team. Bye, Norman.
Well, honey, I'm glad we finally hired a butler. Where'd you manage to find one?
I called the employment agency and they said they had a new man over there. I called him. He used to be in radio. I think he was a sound effects man.
You calling me?
Yes, Dad and I would like something to drink.
It's pretty good. That's not a bad idea. It's pretty hot. I have one of myself, huh?
I'll have a mint julep.
So will I.
Make it a 3.
Luigi!
Oh, I forgot that.
I think he's a boozer.
He'll hear you.
Must be pretty nice. Must be pretty nice to sit around and drink all the day. Have lots of money. Yeah, boy, Jim, money going there.
Whoops.
A little bit of mistake, because nobody's hurt. What are you getting so like a sight?
Honey, would you pour me a mint julep instead of clumsy there?
All right, Daddy.
A little more, honey.
I'm trying, Daddy.
Yep, a little more, honey, a little more.
I'm trying, Daddy. I'm trying.
A little more.
Well, Daddy,
A little more, honey, child, a little more.
I'm trying, Daddy.
This is Jack Lemmon speaking. Ernie Kovacs was the funniest, wildest, zaniest man I ever knew. Ernie thought so too, and so did millions of happy people. Ernie was all over television on one network or another from 1950 until he died in 1962. He had an unpredictable and illogical view of the world. He played with the medium of television in a way no one ever had before, and he created a batch of cockeyed characters that have become classics. So slow down your internal clock. It was a more leisurely time, you know. Here's Ernie Kovacs.
It is with no little excitement, a great deal of pride and respect that we present our guest of the evening, the revered professor of electronics and physics, Dr. Rensselaer Ewing. Dr. Ewing. How do you do?
How do you do?
When we read the bulletin from the Research Bureau on your latest invention, we were most anxious to have you here.
I'm happy to be here.
Good to have you. I'm sure you're as anxious to tell us about your invention as we are to hear about it.
Indeed so.
Well, then here we go, I guess, huh?
Indeed so. If you will take a mo to examine this.
Well, as a layman, I'm more or less reluctant to make comment.
I suppose not. And yet, as a man of science, I feel that this would more or less
give you license to speak, eh, Doctor?
Good show. This, if you will look closely, may appear at first glance rather complicated, and yet, withal, it is remotely simple.
What do you call it, for want of a better name?
I call it a motorcycle, for indeed it is.
Would you, Doctor, would you go so far as to call it a miniature motorcycle?
I believe you struck it, for it is indeed a miniature motorcycle. All parts complete. Handlebars, trade name on side, gasoline, and a rear seat that's attached to the mudguard.
How much gasoline is needed to run it, Doctor?
Very little.
How does it start?
Simply by pressing down on the side starter. Much the same as a standard. That is a larger motorcycle. See this pedal?
Yes, the little chromium gadget there.
No, that's the horn. This contrivance, this is the pedal. Simply by pushing down here, it would start. However, this would not be the suitable...
Und der Haifisch, der hat Zähne und die trägt er im Gesicht. Und McKees, der hat ein Messer, doch das Messer sieht man nicht. Und der Haifisch, der hat Zähne und die trägt er im Gesicht. Und McKees, der hat ein Messer, doch das Messer sieht man nicht. Ach, rot, wenn dieser Blut vergießt. Mackie Messer trägt nen Handschuh drauf und hat liest. Und der Haifisch, der hat Zähne und die trägt er im Gesicht. Und McKees, der hat ein Messer, doch das Messer sieht man nicht. Ach, es sind es Haifischflossen, rot, wenn dieser Blut vergießt. Mackie Messer trägt nen Handschuh, drauf man keine Untat liest. An dem schönen blauen Sonntag liegt ein toter Mann am Strand und ein Mensch geht um die Ecke, den man Mackie Messer nennt. Und Schmulmeier bleibt verschwunden und so mancher reicher Mann. Und sein Geld hatte Mackie Messer, dem man nichts beweisen kann. Jenny Tauler ward gefunden mit nem Messer in der Brust. Und am Knie geht Mackie Messer, der von allem nichts gewusst. Und das große Feuer in Soho, 7 Kinder und ein Greis in der Menge. Mackie Messer, den man nicht fragt.
John?
Namen jeder weiß, wachte auf und war geschändet. Mackie, welches war dein Preis? Wachte auf und war geschändet. Mackie, welches war dein Preis?
Alice, aren't you glad they finally made one night ladies' night in the Turkish bath?
Yes, every Tuesday night is ladies' night. Aren't you glad, Bernice?
Tuesday? I thought it was Thursday, and my name isn't Bernice.
It's Bernard.
11,429, 11,430, 11,431, 11,432, 11,433, 11,434.
Pardon me, but I'm doing research for Checo toothpaste.
11,435.
Now first, what is your name?
11,345. Leonard Koznovsky, 11,436, 39, 11,437.
Where do you live?
11,438. I live at 111 East, 11,439 West 42nd Street, 11,440.
How long have you lived there,
11,441, 3 years, 11,441.
And how long did you live there before that?
11,442. I lived at 112 East 33rd Street, 11,413, right across the street. That was 11,442. 11,443.
May I borrow your
11,444.
Now, how many times a day do you brush your teeth?
13. It rips my mouth out, too. 11,445. 11,446. 11,447. 11,448.
Hi, mister. What you doing, mister? Huh, mister?
11,000 counting beans. 11,461.
362, 363. What kind of prize they giving, mister? Huh, mister?
Big one. 11,453.
367. Hey, mister, what time did you start counting?
7 o'clock. Yesterday,
369, 370. I once bounced my ball 842 times.
842.
11,449. Took me 6 hours.
376,
377, 378. Come to think it was 7 hours. 381, 382. I take it back, it was 6 hours. 381,
6 hours. 11,449. 11,450. 11,451. 11,452. 11,453, 11,454, 11,455, 11,602, 11,602, 11,603, 11,603, 11,603, 11,611.
Please close the door.
I'm angry. Somebody slipped a brown martini in on me here. Or perhaps it's that sassy bartender using mascara again. To business. I have received here a short communication from a student who says, we have been studying history. We are studying the stories of Mr. Americus Vespucci and Mr. Christopher Columbus and how they discovered the world was round. Would you please explain how they did discover it was round? Actually, it's not round at all. People are dropping off all the time. That is tasty, isn't it? Oh, I pity the abstainer. Seems to be quite a bit missing. Perhaps that stuffed olive is soaking it up. Or maybe the daisy has got a hollow stem. You can't trust the daisy. But you never know because they say daisies won't tell. Here's another communication on the other side of this. Dear Mr. Dovetonsils, in my chemistry class, my chemistry teacher keeps changing my seat. So much for that. Now then, all over the country, it is autumn, it is fall. And certainly the leaves are beginning to pile up on the sidewalk. And old Jack Frost is nipping, because he's human too. Here's you, Jack. So I have written a poem called Autumn. That one was on camera, the first one I missed. Oh, Adam and Eve wore fig leaves in the earliest of earth-known years. They wore them through spring and through summer, labeling them his and hers. You talk about your poetic license, huh? They caught dreadful colds, though, soon after. At least historians so recall. The fig leaves were swell in the summer, but what happened to those leaves in the fall?
Well, they got Miklos in army now. Must prepare breakfast. Sergeant tell Miklos they want pancakes breakfast. How do I make pancakes? 1 quart milk. 1 egg.
What do you think you're doing, Molnar?
I make breakfast for men, pancakes.
You've got to make pancakes for 8,000 men, Molnar.
But I only got the recipe for one.
Then multiply it by 8,000 times. Here, we'll start with some premix. Now put some more stuff in it.
All right, I put. Eggs. Carrot. Radish. Mesquite. 8,000 men. Flour. More radish. Eggs. Grapes. Grapes give good strong taste. Sergeant! I finished with pancakes. Sergeant! Sergeant! Sergeant!
Yes, Molnar?
Well, hi, kids. It's Auntie Gruesome again, and time for another story. Tonight I'm going to tell you the story of Cinderella. Well, it seems that Cinderella had two mean stepsisters, Alice and Leonard. Mother always wanted, not now, honey, I'll be out later. Her mother always wanted a girl, see, so she named him Leonard. Now, Leonard and Alice were just so mean to Cinderella, and there came this big ball. She was going to have a big ball, and everybody was going, and Cinderella says, I must put on a new burlap sack. I'm going to look my loveliest, see. Well, these two sisters says, oh, no, you've got a few chores to do. First of all, you've got to put in a new driveway, fix the television antenna, grease the sports car, and wash the station wagon. Well, she says, I'll never get to the ball. That's the idea, stupid. So out they go, smelling like just roses, out of season. And then suddenly there is what we call a puff of smoke in mixed company, and in appears the fairy godmother, waving her wand like she's on the weed, you know. So Cinderella says, oh, hello there. She says, hi, I'm your fairy godmother. She says, good. She says, want to go to the ball? She says, I do, indeed, I do. She says, well, here, let me fix you up. So she put on a beautiful cocktail dress on Cinderella. It was all covered all over with martini juice, so it wasn't any mistaking what kind of a dress it was. Say, you know, there's a little pocket for olives if you want to mix your own. And then she fixed her up a beautiful coiffure on her head. And then she says, and here is a pair of glass galoshes that'll make you the loveliest thing at the ball. Well, Cinderella got all ready to go to the ball. She said, now, what am I going to use for a car? She says that, already? My goodness, time flies. Does I never get a chance to finish these? I didn't realize it was so late. What time is it? Cuckoo, 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 cuckoo.
Play it again, Sam.
Okay, baby.
Wasn't it some vacation, though? Certainly some fun. We had so many Easter eggs, which were dyed a brilliant hues of lavender and orchid and cerise. Little pictures of bunny rabbits all over them. We certainly had a nice Easter in our house, and I had my Easter outfit on a couple of weeks ago or so, Easter Sunday. And I walked down Fifth Avenue here in Gotham. And believe you me, it certainly was embarrassing with all the girls turning their head admiringly at me. I don't suppose it was so much my mauve waistcoat as it was the chartreuse seersucker slacks. Albeit, however, so those things are of not our consequence. Today, I am going, as we have been discussing the literati, if I may use that expression so early in the morning with so many mixed listeners. We had a poem by Marilyn, what's her name? Some girl. And we thought that perhaps we might discuss the very young fellow who perhaps is not exactly a fellow, but so many times we read books and so many times we love poetry and manuscripts. But very often do we neglect to look at the little fellow who spends so much more time with books than we, the bookworm. I don't suppose many of us stops to understand the life of the bookworm, so I have written a poem entitled Ode to a Bookworm. Somebody seemed to have slipped a little fish into my martini. Some prankster on the floor. Mm-hmm. Well, later perhaps. I'll join you. No, I don't suppose he'll drink too much, and he can't get the olive in his mouth. Ode to a Bookworm by Percy Dovetonsils. Oh, hail to thee, thou streamlined fellow. You go through my books like a fork go through Jell-O. When I open a book and look back at the binding, little crumbs from your lunch always I'm finding. I saw you first so trim and so spruce as you gummed a few pages out of My Mother Goose. You browsed through my shelves, in your eye was a twinkle, as you ate the first chapter of old Rip Van Winkle. The next time I saw you, I was so miffed. You ate off the ending of inventor Tom Swift. You made little bites so round and so tidy all over the back of my copy of Heidi. And then you reached manhood, I recall with some pain, when you first bit your way into Mickey Spillane. You ate chapter 1 and then began rushing. On chapter 13, I noticed you blushing. As the years passed on by, you continued to munch. You were big enough then to eat Ivanhoe for lunch. And then you ate Lawrence of Arabia. I heard your loud sigh as you lay gasping for water. The book was so dry. Today is your birthday. May you live good and long, so the night will be filled with your nibbling song. Now you can eat my present from the back to the front, for today I've enrolled you in the book of the month. That's all to Bookworm. Percy Dovetonsils.
The Trojan War is over, a foolish war. Paris had stolen the wife of King Menelaus. Menelaus pursued Paris and destroyed him, and the thousands died. The king stands now on the lonely shore, faced with the monumental decision of returning his wife to his home or of killing her. How bright the face of heaven, how sweet the air this day that layeth at my feet. The woman that Nay, 'twas not for her I came. 'Twas for the man, the cozener and thief that ate with me and stole away my bride. But Paris lieth this long day by God's grace under the horsehoofs of the Greek, and around him all his land. And now I seek. Curse her, I scarce can speak the name she bears that was my wife. Here among the prisoners they keep her, in these huts, among the hordes of numbered slaves. Mine host, whose laboring sword won her, has given her up to me to feel my pleasure, perchance to kill or not kill, but lead her home. Over the long seas I will bear her back, and there, cast to whatso wrack of angry death they may devise. Those who know their dearest dead for her in Ilion. Ho, ye soldiers! Up into the chambers where she croucheth! Grip the long blood-reeking hair and drag her into mine eyes! And when there come fair breezes, my long ships shall bear her home.